I'm saying all that to say this. My expectations was a high of LeBron James and the Lakers, but at the beginning of the season, it was them. It was Shannon. Even when they won that one game against the Denver Nuggets, what did he start doing? Stephen A. Could it be? He start amping it up as if this is going to be this great comeback, right? My point in saying all this is, it's LeBron James super supporters who say the Lakers are going to win the championship. Oh, the Lakers are going to pull this miraculous comeback. And then when they don't, and somebody like myself say, see, we told you. Oh, you put too much pressure on a 39-year-old. No, I didn't. I never had the expectations you did. Welcome to another episode of GOAT Debate Media. I'm your host, Abaya Israel. I'm here with two coaches, Coach Scott and Coach J.O. Listen, we got a good show tonight. And I already know what all the LeBron fans going to say. Y'all always talk about LeBron, but like Coach J.O. like to say, and I agree with him wholeheartedly, y'all got to understand, LeBron is the topic. LeBron is the star. And we are talking about sports-related news. All right? And some sports-related news that we have concerning LeBron James is Big Perk. Big Perk, one of the biggest LeBron supporters, has seemingly jumped off of the LeBron train. Not only that, Stephen A. Smith has brought out some information that may possibly expose the agenda of LeBron James. And we also want to talk about those 8 going on 9 head coaches. All of that and more right after this.
Even though I killed the ghost, there's still room to debate. It's either Jordan or LeBron who being labeled the great. If you hungry for the smoke, then come and get you a plate. Cause some rock with LBJ and some giving them hate. Tune into the show, cause we about to get into it. Jordan is the GOAT. But now it's time to prove it.
Hey, listen, we got a lot to talk about today. You know what? And I'm going to do the honors, and I'm going to start with Coach Scott because a lot of people like to watch our show, and they say this is a LeBron bashing show. And I really hate that, Coach Scott, because I feel like we speak certain truths, and if you don't go according to what the LeBron James fans want you to say, you are now a LeBron hater. And that's unfair because it's not like we are. Now, if you're talking about LeBron James personally, if you're talking about him as a husband, a father, a son, a member of the community, at that point, you are a hater. But we're talking about basketball and basketball related issues. And so I want to start with you, Coach Scott. When we're talking about LeBron James, and then we're starting to see even some LeBron James supporters are actually starting to say the same things that we've been saying this whole time. Are we truly just hating? Or can we just have a real conversation about what's going on? Yes, it's about LeBron James because he is the face of the NBA right now. It is what it is. I mean, am I wrong by that?
No, I don't feel you're wrong. I think LeBron James fans, what LeBron James fans need to do is understand this. LeBron James will be the topic of discussion until he retires. Understand that. It's just like Tom Brady. It's just like Muhammad Ali. It's just like any other great in any sport that is being played. Until that great retires, until they say, this is it for me, they're going to be the topic of the discussion. And I, as a person who's a LeBron James fan, I'm not a Laker fan. I'm a Miami Heat fan. I'm a Miami Dolphin fan. I'm a Miami Hurricane fan. And anything else Miami creates, I'm a fan of that too.
Miami swim team.
I'm a LeBron James fan, and what we have to do as fans is we got to get some tough skin. We got to get better arguments if we're going to say he's the GOAT. If we're going to say we're going to stand 10 toes down on getting rid of the 90s and the 80s and whatever ever era that you want to get rid of. You just got to get better at whatever you're going to argue. I feel the same way with Michael Jordan fans. Hey, you got to get better at your argumentation if the argumentation always starts with what LeBron James didn't do. So, no, absolutely. I feel like our platform is the fairest platform. I feel like, we come, we speak, and the fans,
that's facts. That's facts.
As people, you get a chance to pick and choose what information you want. I always heard you chew the meat, spit out the bones.
That's how I go. Hey, listen, y'all heard it from Coach Scott, who is a supporter of LeBron James. Listen, let me just go on record.
I'm a fan.
And yeah, and I'm going on record to say, I actually enjoyed LeBron James's career. Are there some things I think should have changed? There's some things I don't like about it? Of course. Else I wouldn't be talking about it, right? But Coach Dale, your thoughts on this whole thing real quick. And we got videos we're going to react to of, Stephen A. Smith, who brought out what we mentioned earlier, and also Big Perk, who is I don't know, was a huge LeBron James supporter. I'm thinking something going on behind the scenes with this situation. I don't know. But Coach Dale, your thoughts, man, like, why is it if you say, hey, well, LeBron James ain't the GOAT? Oh, you a hater. And this is one that really gets me. And this is where I think, and I'm gonna be blunt, and it's not all basketball fans, it's LeBron fans when they do this, because I've never heard this done with any other athlete ever when we're just talking about the sport. Now, if you're talking about the athlete, okay, one thing. But when we're talking about the sport, you hate black people. You're bringing out the black community. How is it that me talking about a basketball related issue is bringing down the black community? But what about, hey, listen, what about Kyrie Irving? He went through some heat a little while ago. Did anybody bring down the black community when they talked about Kyrie? What about when the media really, really chastised and went hard on KD for his decision as well? Was that bringing down the black community? Because this is why they lose me at Coach J. It's simple and silly things like this, but it's not all of them, just certain ones, and you just hear it, the small few speak louder than the big crowd, I guess. But what's your thoughts, Coach?
I mean, people coming off the juice. It's just what it is. People are coming off of the juice. I'm sorry. It's just what it is. Think about this. I'm serious, though. Perk has been a known LeBron supporter from day one. He even argued with Shannon Sharp about who's been the fan the longest. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I've been on this bandwagon the longest. He had an argument with Shannon about that.
Facts.
But I'm telling you, this thing, people are starting to wake up to these narratives, and this stuff is just starting to rub people the wrong way. There's always excuses. There's always finger pointing. It's always something. It's always something. It's never any accountability for anything. And people, it's just starting to rub people the wrong way. Even his supporters, they're starting to see it, man.
Right. Nah, you're absolutely right. Hey, let's do this. While we on that subject, hey, take us over to the breakdown scene. Take us over to the breakdown. We have here, and shout out to Dreamers Pro, man. This is a show I actually love to watch. I love this brother here, man, Charles. He does a fantastic job covering. And he stays on top of the news, whatever it is, basketball related and things that is sports. And he's actually covering, what you're talking about right now, Coach JL, as far as Big Perk and his thoughts and, where he stands. And it seems to have transitioned, and I want to play it and I want to get your reaction and thoughts on it. And I want to get Coach Scott's reaction and thoughts on it. And tell me, what do y'all think about this? And I really want to go back to Coach Scott because you are the lone right now. It doesn't sound wrong if I say you're the lone LeBron supporter. I'm a supporter too, and I'm also a LeBron fan. I just don't believe in the narrative. You know what I mean? And that's the part that people don't seem to understand. You're a hater. No, I just don't believe in the narrative. But with that being said, let me play this, and I want to get y'all thoughts and reactions to it.
Take a listen to that in its entirety. And then when I come back, listen to it carefully. When I come back and respond to what they had to say, take a listen to that there.
I think the thing is, when I look at it, is just the level of expectations we have for a 39-year-old. We've never seen anybody in the history of the game have the level of expectations that LeBron James. Nobody expected this. Were you expecting Michael Jordan to get to the Eastern Conference Finals when he was in Washington, Perk?
Now, before we keep going, listen, because Perk, he ain't going to really touch on what I'm about to respond to right now, so I want to give my reaction to ask y'all about this, what Shannon Sharp just said. He said, we never had this level of expectation for anybody else for a 39-year-old other than LeBron James. I want to say that's cap. That's BS. And let me tell you why I say it's cap and BS. I didn't have a high, and me and everybody who I know that watch the NBA did not have a high expectation of LeBron James. I, for one, didn't even think he was going to make the playoffs. And not because of LeBron James, not because of LeBron, because LeBron's a great player, but because of the Lakers team. All right. Yeah, they had AD, but I didn't think they were good enough to even make the playoffs. I thought they was at the very least maybe get a play in, and I didn't expect them to get past the first round. They lose, and when they started playing Denver, I thought it was going to be a sweep, but they got one game. I'm saying all that to say this: my expectations wasn't high of LeBron James and the Lakers, but at the beginning of the season, it was them. It was Shannon. Even when they won that one game against the Denver Nuggets, what did he start doing? Stephen A. Hey, could it be? He start amping it up as if this is going to be this great comeback, right? My point in saying all this is, it's LeBron James super supporters who say the Lakers are going to win the championship. Oh, the Lakers for them pull this miraculous comeback. And then when they don't, and somebody like myself say, see, we told you. Oh, you put too much pressure on the 39-year-old. No, I didn't. I never had the expectations. You did. We never set expectations. Lakers was one of the ones they picked to possibly go to the finals in the beginning of the season. And all of a sudden, we had too high of expectations. Coach Scott, tell me I'm tripping. No, you might say I'm tripping. You ain't got to tell me. Don't even see it.
I appreciate you passing the mic. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, you're tripping.
No, I'm not.
Anytime LeBron James is on the court, it's an expectation that team is going to the finals. That's why we're having the conversations that we're having. Anytime LeBron James is on a basketball court, it's an expectation of finals or bust. That's the only reason we're having these conversations. Now, I will say this, Abaya, you are probably one of few. As myself, is probably one of few. Again, we can separate the emotional attachment of players and how they operate on the court and how they operate personally from the actual game. I will say that. And I can understand how you can say, hey, look, I didn't expect that from the Lakers at the beginning of the season. I looked at their team, top to bottom, their roster just wasn't there for me. I can see that. But for the majority of the people who are watching basketball and they look at LeBron James, they look at Anthony Davis, and they look at any team that's assembled around those guys, they go, that's a championship team. Why? Because we got Dallas Cowboy fans in the world. So you can't tell me that the majority of the people don't feel that way. Because we got Dallas Cowboy fans in the world. Because they're going to the Super Bowl every year.
Coach Scott, you see that guy right there with the glasses? That guy right there. If I could touch him, I would. That guy right there with the glasses, right?
Big
Unk. Big Unk. Shannon Sharp. He is the one, Coach J.O., he is the one who said possibly finals. And when you see the other guy behind him, initially he was too. I don't know anybody who LeBron James fans call haters or Jordan supporters or Jordan fans. I don't know any of those guys who had any expectations that the Lakers was going to win the championship or they got to get to the finals or bust. Nobody had that expectation, Coach J.O.
A lot of people did.
I got a question. I got a question for Coach Scott. Coach Scott, did you have expectations for LeBron James and the Lakers?
Abaya, can I answer that question? Or can I answer that question?
You got it.
Coach J.O., listen, you asked me earlier in the year, would the Lakers make the playoffs? Are the Lakers going to make the playoffs? And I'm like, absolutely. LeBron James is like fine wine. These are my exact quotes. LeBron James is like fine wine. He's just getting better with time. Absolutely, they're going to make the playoffs. So to ask me that question, I don't know. I don't know if you're listening to me. I don't know if you thought I was playing or not. But again, from then to now, yes, I thought the Lakers were going to make the playoffs.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hold on. So your only expectations were for just the Lakers to make the playoffs. That's it.
No.
Can you give me your other expectation?
I thought the Lakers were at least going to get into the second round of the playoffs. I didn't think they were going to make the championship. No, I didn't. I didn't think they would make the Western Conference Finals. I didn't think they would repeat to do that. I didn't think that. I didn't think that. But I definitely felt like they could make the second round of the playoffs based on the abilities of LeBron James and an Anthony Davis.
Okay.
Did you?
Okay.
But Abaya, isn't Coach Scott the person who says LeBron James, even to this day, is the best athlete in the NBA?
Yes.
I did say that.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's you putting the pressure on him.
10 toes down.
But then that's not us. That's the point. You're making a point for it. Well, he's making a point. We didn't put that pressure there. We don't think LeBron James is the best athlete. I think he's probably pretty good for a 40-year-old.
It's not. I don't feel like it's pressure. It's just a fan looking at an athlete that has. If we take names off of it, let's just take names off of it. Coach J.O., can we do that for 2 seconds? I'm not going to be long. I'm just asking 2 seconds.
You can't take a name.
Let's just take names off of it. If we said we had a player that went 25, 7, and 8 for the year in the basketball season and actually elevated their game in the playoff series, what would you say about that specific player taking names off of it?
He's a good player.
If it didn't impact the team, I would say he's not doing much.
Well, it had to impact the team because they made the playoffs.
Not really. Not when you was expected to win a championship.
Well, let me ask you another question because you put that caveat in there.
All right, and after this question, we'll get back to the video. Go ahead and get it.
Absolutely. I didn't even put championship in there because I said I didn't think they would make the Western Conference Finals, but you said championship. No problem. I just want to ask another question off of that. Based off of that, the only reason you're making that statement about a championship is because LeBron James is on that team. Now tell me I'm lying.
You're lying.
Okay.
I only make that statement because you guys make these outlandish statements, and I just want to hold you all to them. That's it.
Okay.
That's fair. That's fair. I gotta say that. I gotta say that.
No problem.
You know, I've heard it myself because when I first heard it, I'm like, championship? I don't think so. But nobody I know who is not on the same avid or LeBron supporter or called LeBron hater. I don't think they expect a championship of us. I don't think they expect the playoffs, honestly. So I think right here, the guy with the glasses, that guy right there, he put heavy expectations and now he's flipping it. And they flipped the script on you as if you had the expectations the whole time. But let's keep going with the video.
Yes, it's a simple yes or no.
No.
Let that sink in for just a second. LeBron James is the exact same age that Michael Jordan was when he was in Washington. And the level of expectations, we expect him to be an MVP. We expect him to get his team to the Western Conference Finals or the NBA Finals. Perk, a lot of what you said, yes, the accountability. I can take it to mind when I played 14 years, Perk. Two of my worst moments, my most down moments, is when Dan Reeves, rest his soul, and Wade Phillips got fired on my watch. And there are a lot of times that I prayed to God, and I know this is an insignificant prayer. I said, God, why didn't you let me be better so I could have saved this man's job? It bothered me that Dan Reeves and Wade Phillips lost their job on my watch because I said if had I been better, had I been the player then, what I later became, maybe I could have saved them. I'm never going to say anything out of context that can be construed that Shannon is unhappy with his coach. Now, I understand. Ladies and gentlemen at home, I'm not trying to compare myself to LeBron James. I never would. I never had that level of ability playing the game of football like LeBron has in basketball. But I'm just trying to share you guys my mindset when I went to work every day. I gave you everything I possibly had, tried to lead the best way I could, play the way I did on the football field. But it bothered me. And I'm a big guy on accountability. Stephen A., if nothing else, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm never going to be too big. I'm never going to be too prideful. I'm never going to be too wealthy to say I'm sorry or I was wrong. Not enough athletes have that built like that. LeBron's problem is the accountability because he's saying cryptic and subliminal tweets. They're not even subliminal. You know exactly what he's saying because we've heard it for the better part of 20 years. So
now, what he just said just there, and we're going to keep the video going, about the tweets, and we've heard it for the better part of 20 years, we said that same thing. And everybody who watched the video that was in the comment section who were LeBron James supporters, you guys just hate LeBron. You guys just hate LeBron. No. Sometimes LeBron does it to himself, like when they got beat by the Dallas Mavericks in 2011 and, you know, the big three down there in Miami. And then he tells all the fans who were upset with him, as fans have the right to be, I still live my nice life and I'm rich, basically is what he's saying. And y'all still got to go to work tomorrow. What? Well, why would you come out and say that? What would make you say that to the fans? And you wonder why people feel a certain way about you and your GOATship. It's things like that. It's things like the little tweaks of the hourglass indicating to your head coach that his time is limited. It's things like people feel like you're always trying to get your players, your teammates traded. It's those type of things that make people be like, you know what? I don't know, LeBron. And then when the fans come behind and they put these expectations out there, and then when you tell them, hey, those are wrong, they flip it on you, and they get kind of radical at points. This is why a lot of people, feel the way they feel about this particular topic. So I just wanted to put that out there really quickly. Y'all got something to say real quick before we go back to the video?
Absolutely. I think that let's just get it out there. I feel like LeBron James does have an accountability issue. But I also feel like as a young man that never he was a celestial from the age of 14 years old. Having that ability and having the world laid at your feet from 14 to now, it causes you to have that type of prowess. It causes you to have that type of lack of accountability as it pertains to you being wrong in specific or certain situations. But let me be honest. I'm calling cap on right now. There ain't no football player playing the game to this day that has ever said, I'm trying to save my head coach job. I'm calling cap. I think Unc was trying to make a point, which I think he made. But I'm calling cap on Unc. Ain't no football player to this day that's saying I'm playing this game to save my coach job. That's cap. Get out of here, man.
Maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know. I can't say because I wasn't there. What about you, Coach J.O.?
Listen, Coach. Listen. Again, you just stated that LeBron has an accountability problem.
That's a personal thing.
That's not a personal thing when he has an accountability problem within his profession. It's not a personal thing. Okay? That's a professional thing. That's a professional thing. I don't hear Savannah James or Bronny James or Bryce James coming out saying LeBron got an accountability issue. Then that would be personal. We're talking about LeBron James, the basketball player. This is a professional problem. And you, as the LeBron James fan, as you stated, why do you not hold LeBron James accountable for his lack of accountability?
That's a good question.
Hold on.
Wait. Let's get back to the video. We'll get back to it. We'll get back to it. Hold that one. We're going to come back to it. I want to get Big Perk's response to what Shannon just said. And Big Perk had a hell of a response. Let's check this out.
We know exactly what he means. We know exactly what he's saying. But the fact of the matter is that if he could have had Ty Lue or he could have had an Eric Spoelstra, do I believe LeBron James would have had more titles? Yes. But he has what he has. It is what it is. I don't think all those coaches hurt this argument. The only thing that hurts LeBron James is that they don't think we know that he's a large part of the reason why these coaches are no longer coach him. That's the problem that I have first and foremost.
Shannon, you said if he could have Eric Spoelstra, he would have more rings. Damn it, he had Eric Spoelstra. He chose to leave Miami.
And left.
He didn't want to play for Eric Spoelstra no more in that franchise because they wouldn't do it the LeBron James way. Because Pat Riley stood behind Eric Spoelstra. Okay, so when I think about the comments when you said, about Jordan and his expectations, you know why the expectations are different for LeBron James? Because LeBron James put these expectations. LeBron James put these expectations on himself. Because LeBron James is always calling himself on several occasions the GOAT. LeBron James is always speaking out about it. We don't hear Jordan calling himself the GOAT. Here's another thing. LeBron James, this is another thing, man, that I feel like is gonna hurt LeBron. We already know what type of basketball mind LeBron is. I think he's one of the most brilliant basketball minds that ever touched the damn basketball. But when you start making it a case where you're the smartest person in the room all the time, that's a problem.
So you heard what Kendrick Perkins had to say.
All right. So with that being said, all right, Coach Scott, I'm going to bring it back to you. With that being said, Perk made a valid point. Because Unc was like, hey, listen, if he had Ty Lue, if he had Eric Spoelstra, he had Ty Lue, he had Eric Spoelstra. He chose to leave that. That was his fault. He had those people, those coaches. And now he chose to go somewhere else, and now it's an excuse. That's the problem that people are trying to point out, Coach Scott.
All right. So can we set up the actual conversation that we're actually needing to have right now? Because
let's go.
Perfect. One, to address Coach Jo, because he made a great point. He had a valid question. Coach Jo, I want to respect you. Can you please re-ask the question so the viewers can hear the question so I can address it properly, please?
If LeBron James has an accountability problem, right, which you stated that he has an accountability problem. If he has one, why don't you hold him accountable for his accountability issues?
All right. So based on him having an accountability problem, why don't I specifically hold him accountable? I'm holding him accountable as a fan, saying, hey, what is the specific issue? What are you saying in specific would be the accountability problem? Because if you want to move into coaches, if you want to move into why he's not further along with championships, let me understand specifically what you are talking about as it pertains to the accountability, because he's not accountable for everything. And this is where I don't want to get it misconstrued in a conversation. I don't want to be emotional. I don't want you to be emotional. I want us to talk as men, and let's reconcile and really find out what we're talking about as it pertains to LeBron James accountability. Because if you're saying everything, then I know and I understand we're not having the same conversation. So what are you talking about as it pertains to his accountability?
LeBron James has been with the Lakers since 2018. 2018, okay. Right? That's 6 years ago. Okay. Yeah, Luke Walton, Frank Vogel, Darvin Ham, and who's ever next.
Gotcha.
Okay. It's about to be 4 coaches, dog. Four coaches.
Yes.
Why does LeBron why isn't he being held accountable for the lack of stability in the organization? Why doesn't he hold a piece of that pie?
I think that's a great question, Coach. I think that's a great question. Here's my answer. Here's my answer to you. One, as a player, if LeBron James has the ability to get coaches fired, as you're insinuating, because this is clearly an insinuation, because I'm gonna get to my point in 2 seconds. If you're insinuating that he has the ability to get coaches fired, why doesn't LeBron James have the ability to get coaches hired? Because we clearly know that he wanted Ty Lue 2 years ago. We know he wanted that, but we know the Lakers historically, they don't pay coaches. They came to Ty Lue with a ridiculous offer where the actual LA Clippers, who share the same building, offered him more, and he's coaching there. So if he has the ability to get a coach fired, why doesn't he have the same prudence? Why doesn't he have the same weight on his word to get a coach hired? Now,
real quick, let me chime in really quickly. Now, they did offer him, but they told him he could not pick his own coaching staff. That was a part of it. So I do think the weight of that was a part of the issue. He could not pick his own coaching staff.
I'm not making that face based off of what coach is hired to a job that doesn't bring in their own staff.
Talu.
But listen,
That's why he's not. That's the point.
Hold on, coach. Hold on, coach. The fact
All
that
right,
you
and J.O., after you respond, I want to go back because I want to hit the second video that I definitely want to watch and want to react to. But go ahead really quick.
The fact that you just went on with this long soliloquy is proving that you're not holding him accountable. Like you're literally making excuses of why you can't hold him accountable. Like you're literally doing that.
Okay, Coach J.O.
All right. Wait. I want to get back to the video. Take us back to the breakdown scene. All right. I want to talk about this video here, and I want to get you guys responses from this because now talking about accountability, this plays a factor into it too. Hey, again, shout out to Dreamers Pro and Charles Advance, man, doing this thing a great job. Both clips coming from the YouTube video. Listen. This goes towards his accountability, right? It goes towards his accountability because now accusations, allegations, and all the sons, whatever you want to call them, you know what I mean, are saying that LeBron not only fails or refuses to take accountability, he also shapes and molds the narrative. And I want to hear what y'all have to say about this and your thoughts on this. Let me play it really quickly.
Take a listen to what Stephen A. Smith had to say here on ESPN First Take yesterday.
We're going to make sure that LeBron James' camp doesn't get to pull off what they will try to pull off. Because you see, the narrative is already, we're blaming LeBron James for the firing of coaches. That's not what this discussion is.
I just want to say really quickly, I blame him for the firing of the coaches. Ain't no coincidence. It's not that many coincidences in the world.
This discussion is us debating that another firing that has occurred under his watch, whether or not that compromises quote-unquote GOAT status in the eyes of a Shannon Sharpe or Kendrick Perkins or Stephen A. Smith and others. That is what the debate is. See, they'll leave. And what they'll say is, oh, LeBron James is getting blamed for the firing. We're not saying that. What we're saying is that you're not as innocent and you're not some just mere spectator in this whole scenario the way you try to pretend to be. That is what we're saying. We're not going to let LeBron James and his camp get away with that. We're not blaming him for the firing. What we're saying is you can't be as great as you proclaim to be, as we know you are in today's NBA game, and be completely innocent and oblivious and distant, having nothing to do with the firing of yet another coach. That is impossible. That's all we're saying. But having said all of that, while acknowledging that that's a reality that he has to live with, there's a bigger narrative to touch on. And that is the fact that LeBron James has brought these debates on himself, Shannon, because of this insatiable appetite he has to control narratives.
Now, I want to stop right here. I'm going to start with you this time, Coach J.O. Me personally, I think Stephen A. Smith is on point here. And y'all know there's times we just don't agree with Stephen A. Smith, right? Whether he right, wrong, opinion, whatever. We agree, we don't agree, whatever. This is one of the times I say Stephen A. Smith is spot on, right? And we like him, love him, hate him. He's one of the greatest to do what he's doing. And he's been at it for years and years and years. And the man knows damn near everybody. Come on now. The man knows down there everybody. The man has a lot of inside connects, right? Like him, love him, hate him, right? He's spot on, Coach J.O. Yep. LeBron is attempting to control the narratives, but this is not even the best part. Wait till we get to the end of what he says, and I definitely got to get y'all reaction in. But thus far, what's your thoughts on what he's saying?
He's absolutely right about controlling the narrative. And Coach J.O. has been very, very tough on the national NBA media over the years. I've been tough on him. Because I just don't think that a lot of these guys had a pair to be able to say the things in which Kendrick Perkins is saying and Stephen A. Smith is saying.
Right.
They are showing now they have some testicular fortitude. They actually have some. And to be able to man up, poke their chest out, and say what they really mean, regardless of what happens. Okay? And LeBron James does try to control the narrative. Not only him, but Rich Paul and his entire camp. They live for this. They literally live for this. Okay? And people are catching on to it, and they're calling a spade a spade. It's just what it is.
Coach Scott?
I have a one question for Coach JL. The narrative is LeBron James is the coach killer, and the camp narrative is he's not. Would you say yes or no to that?
He's definitely a coach killer.
He's definitely a coach killer.
Definitely.
Any player that has 8 coaches, 9 coaches over their span of a 21-year career, they're a coach killer, right?
Not just any player.
Not just any player.
But a star player, an all-time great player, you know what I'm saying, in the prime of his career that's still doing it. Yes.
Okay, LeBron James.
Before you go forward, Coach Scott, because I want to add this in while you're asking your questions. Because I like that question. That is actually a really good question. Because what if there was another player to do the same exact thing? My question would be this. Did that other player have that pull to say that coach stays, that coach goes? Did that other player have that controversial or that tension that's always around him that causes the front office to say, hey, maybe we keep him, maybe we don't, based off how you feel? Did the other player do those type of things? And if so, I would say, yeah, then that player he's probably an issue as well. But right now, I mean, LeBron, I will say yes. In this situation, he's coach killer. Is there another?
Yeah, that's a hell of a point. That is a hell of a point. And that is a point that most people would have to say, you're right. But I'm glad I'm not most people, because I actually like to do the journalist part and do the research. Moses Malone, 19 seasons, 13 coaches. Shaquille O'Neal, 19 seasons, 13 coaches. Patrick Ewing, 17 seasons, 11 coaches. Carmelo Anthony, 19 seasons, 11 coaches. AI, 14 seasons, 10 coaches. The great Kobe Bryant, 20 seasons, 10 coaches. KG, 21 seasons, 9 coaches. Now we get to LeBron James at 21 seasons, and now he's going to be on his 9th, going on 10th coach. And now it's his fault. Is it a narrative, or is this what great players have to hold the organization to as it pertains to who's coaching? Hold on, coach. Hold on, coach. You can shake your head, but now you have to look and say, is Moses Malone not a star? Because the bio said, does that player have the weight to pull the organization left or right based on who they are? Does Shaquille O'Neal? Does Patrick Ewing? Does Carmelo Anthony? Does Allen Iverson? Does Kobe Bryant? Does KG? Are you serious?
Hold on. Let me ask you this question. Because now those are excellent points. I'm gonna be fair. That's an excellent point, and that's an excellent stance, that a position to argue from in talking about the situation. But let's use Shaq for example. You named how many coaches does Shaq have?
Shaq had 19 years, 13 coaches.
Okay, we can probably eliminate almost half of those because it was going from team to team. Exactly. That's what I want to put in there. Some of those coaches weren't fired. It's because they were moving around. Some of the coaches may have been fired. But let me ask you this, Coach Scott. Again, excellent point that you made. But I think it was lacking something like, were those players going from team to team as well? Now, when was that happening? Was that some of that late in their careers? Yes, for some of them it was. But let me ask you this. During that era, 80s, 90s, even 70s, wherever, right? Did the players have the ability to control narratives and the authority to have coaches fired like they can today? We even talked about this, even though we're in football, we see players like just kind of disrespecting coaches. It's not the same as it was back then. So was it the players or the owners?
Well, I would definitely say Carmelo, AI, Kobe, KG, they definitely had the ability to do so. In my opinion, Shaq, Pat, Moses Malone, probably not. They played under the real regime of the National Basketball Association. I would say that. It's not the same game that Moses, Shaq, and Pat really played under. But as it pertains to Camelo, AI, Kobe, KG, I would say they could sway whether or not a coach stayed. But I do want to make a point before we go back to the video. Paul Silas, he was removed in mid-season of LeBron James' second year. As a 20-year-old, did he really get Paul Silas fired? As a 20-year-old? And his second year? Probably not. Then the interim coach came in, Brendan Malone. Did he really have the ability to keep him or get him fired? Probably not. Mike Brown, truth about the situation, because I love context. Mike Brown got fired after LeBron James left. Why would I ever jump on a powder keg on a team that I'm not even going to be around? And it's a team that I got to play.
So let me ask you this, Coach Scott. Again, Coach Dale, excellent point. It's an excellent point. So let me ask you this. And I'm going to make it real basic, right? I'm going to get back to the video. If LeBron robbed 5 banks and we say he was a bank robber, but Moses Malone, Shaq, and AI, they all robbed 6 or 7 banks, it just make them all bank robbers, does it not?
It absolutely makes them bank robbers.
So it doesn't erase the fact of what's happening. They still bank robbers.
Absolutely. But here's my point. Here's my point. And this was my sole point of asking Coach J.O. this question. Where's their accountability? They get away scot-free. They get away scot-free while everything gets late. Hey, I'm all about accountability as a man. LeBron James needs to take accountability for whatever he needs to take accountability for. They're not moving on to the Western Conference Championship this year because LeBron James and AD were not good enough. And I'm going to say it in specific because LeBron James, though he played phenomenal throughout the season, though he played phenomenal throughout the playoffs, he wasn't good enough to eliminate a team that beat him 19 out of 3 times. I'm gonna say it. So but guess what?
Come on, let's wrap it. Go, Scott. Come on, let's get to the point.
No problem. But guess what? That's why Darvin Ham is not here anymore. He's 3-19 against a team that's in his conference that he's gonna have to see, regardless of what anybody says.
Coach J.O., wait, before Coach J.O., now I want Coach J.O. to respond to that. Some great points. Hell of a point. Take us back to the 3 cam. Let's go ahead, and then I definitely want to see that. And Coach Scott, Coach J.O., I want you to answer. You got it.
Those are not great points. Those are not great points. You literally listed an entire chapter of the I'm gonna give LeBron James passes book to not hold him accountable. You're literally giving reasons not to hold him accountable. You're trying to hold other people accountable and not hold him accountable. And you think you slick, Coach Scott. You're going to throw in LeBron James and AD wasn't good enough to get it done. What does AD have to do with this? What does AD have to do with this segment? Absolutely.
Based on your conversation, AD is the Lakers. He's the one that carried the Lakers this year.
But we're talking about Coach Scott.
I gotta put the best player in your opinion on the chopping block too.
We're talking about what Coach Scott believes. Coach Scott believes LeBron James is the best athlete to play basketball.
Yes.
Coach Scott believes LeBron James
25, 7, and 8 says that
LeBron James is the best player on the Lakers. That's what Coach Scott believes.
Yes. Okay. But Coach J.O. doesn't believe that. So my juxtaposition is asking Coach J.O., what about it?
Again, you're throwing all of this out here not to hold him accountable. You're still not holding him accountable. Okay. Is so LeBron James a coach killer? Coach Scott, is LeBron James a coach killer?
No. Not based off of the statistics I read. No, he's not. And here's why I say that. Any coach that's 3-19 in an interconference rival, a team that you're going to have to play at least 4 times, at least a minimum of 8 times within a year. If you're in the same conference, if you're 3-19, why in the hell would I pay you $5+ million not to get the job done? You tell me that.
Was it Darvin Ham's fault when the Lakers was up 22 points? No, I'm asking. Was it Darvin Ham's fault then?
Abaya, we can't hear you.
Okay, we can't hear you, Abaya. Can't hear you, Abaya.
Oh, I was talking on mute. I was over here like, wait, Coach J.O., take us back to the breakdown scene, producer. Take us back to the breakdown scene. I was talking up a storm. Hey, listen, those are some great points, right? Those are great points. I said LeBron James was the coach killer. After that, I might have to go back and reconsider. I gotta be fair. Now, that was a hell of a point. Now, I do believe that some of those players, like I said, was because they was going from team to team, and so some of those coaches were eliminated off that list. But it still was an awesome and great point. And I have to say, you know what? Being a moderator, being fair, I gotta say, we gotta look at both sides of the fence. I can't hate. Let's finish up this video though. Let's jump back over here. I'm not on the juice. I'm just being real. He made a great point. He made a great point. Let's jump on the video. All right, let's go back.
It's what he does. Nobody, I repeat, nobody, no star in the history of sports has gone about the business of methodically, systematically, continuously trying to control the narrative. And I have proof. That podcast.
Now, right here, this is the point I want to get to y'all. I'm going to play the rest of the video out. He says nobody has been methodical as LeBron is trying to control the narrative, and I have proof. If you don't like Stephen A. Smith, that's one thing. If you like Stephen A. Smith, that's another thing. If you're just indifferent, that's another thing. But one thing nobody can say, whether you like him, love him, hate him, in between, whatever, you can't say when that man said he got proof, the man be coming with some facts now. He ain't going to just make it up. You could say he might have said some silly stuff. He did some silly things, but the man's good at what he do. And by what he's saying, what he's finna say, I believe him. I'm gonna finish out the video.
That him and JJ Redick have. Let me be the first to say, it's a great podcast. You want to learn some basketball, you listen to them brothers. I ain't throwing no shade on them. I love JJ and the job he's doing. I appreciate LeBron, his greatness, and his cerebral approach, educating us about the game of basketball. But why would you choose to do that in your 21st season approaching age 40? Because you know why? You want to make sure that you're the guy that gets to put your fingerprints on narratives because you have proven throughout the years that you care about that. Well, we're here to say, yo, you got your approach. We got ours. You got your penchant for control of the narrative. We got ours. And oh, by the way, you're talking about you. So therefore, you ain't going to be but so objective. We, on the other hand, are going to be very objective. Shannon, you and I disagree, but we don't fail to acknowledge the greatness of LeBron James and how he's on the Mount Rushmore of basketball. Kendrick Perkins, you are a friend. You've known this man for decades, which is why you repeatedly will tell people to kiss your ass when they come to you trying to tell you how you supposed to be talking to and about LeBron James. Who the hell are they? Because you know him. You see what I'm saying? But you've had to do it. Why did you have to do it, Kendrick Perkins? Because that man allowed people to approach you to try to infiltrate a narrative he may have disagreed with. Why did you have to do it, Kendrick Perkins? Because that man allowed people to approach you to try to infiltrate a narrative he may have disagreed with that you, me, Shannon, or somebody else has put forth. This is what he does. This is what he has done. And there is no escaping that.
You heard?
Now, Perk never said that wasn't true. Apparently, according to Stephen A., and there's more to be, seen about that video, LeBron James and his camp, if you're major media and you're talking and it's not good for him, what you're saying, or it's not where the narrative has been pushed towards him and him being the GOAT, I didn't know this and even Charles Benson over on the Dreamers Pro Show, he said he didn't know this as well. They were literally and physically approaching reporters to talk to them, not to hey man, why you say anything bad about me, that type of deal. But hey, so what was your thoughts and why do you feel the need to have people you've hired to approach people to question them about what they said about you? Is this the reason Perk is jumping off of the LeBron train? Because Stephen A. Smith just said that man had somebody approach you to try and change the narrative that you put out. He didn't like it. So now they're coming to you, Perk. Could this be the reason, Coach Dale? Because that's real suspect.
Of course it's the reason. Of course it's the reason. How long have we talked about this on this show? Nick Wright, or should I call him, or as I like to call him, Nick Wrong, okay, who has a talk show, First Things First, on Fox Sports, is literally a Clutch client. He's literally a Clutch Sports client.
Now, wait. Now, you always tell people that, but explain that. What does that even mean? He's a Clutch client.
Okay. Literally. All right, look, everybody knows that Nick Wright is one of the biggest LeBron James fans that has walked God's green earth. He is on the same agency as LeBron Ramon James. The same agent. They share the same agent. All right? They represent Nick Wright to get all his contracts structured or whatever. So he knows LeBron James personally. He knows LeBron James' camp personally. He knows Rich Paul personally. He even gets on the show and says he has conversation with these guys. Okay? Wouldn't it be of the interest of Clutch Sports for Nick Wright to push the LeBron James narrative in a positive manner, whether deceitful or not?
It would be. It would be. Facts. Coach Scott, what's your thoughts on it?
I think that when you want something to be something, it's gonna be that. I think that what I heard. Go ahead.
I didn't say nothing. I'm listening.
No, I mean, you laughed and you kind of rebuffed what I'm saying. So I thought you had. I thought you were going to communicate on it. So I
will when you're done. Go ahead.
But in Coach J.O.'s kind of journalism, I think that's great journalism to find out that Nick Wright, or Nick Wrong, as you call him, is a part of Clutch Sports media's kind of regime, as you like to call it. I air quotes because I don't specifically know myself. I did some research myself, and it's pretty ironic how many players that are part of the Jumpman brand that kind of hold to one narrative as well. It's pretty ironic how many people who hold to the Jumpman brand and hold to the Jumpman kind of moniker as it pertains to being signed to Michael Jordan's official brand, whether it be shoes or specific apparel or clothing, that they have a specific narrative that they push when they talk. So whether it be their college or whether it be their organization, hey, it's those type of things that kind of say, hey man, it's all about who you like and what you're going to say based on who's buttering your bread, I guess. But as a subjective fan, that's one of the things that you, myself, and Abaya, hey, it says it at the top. We do sports unfiltered. Nobody's asking us, hey, say this because of this, make this statement because of this. I'm speaking about what I physically see as a former player that looks at athletics, that looks at athletes that perform a sport in the greatest capacity that they can. And I say, based on what I see, hey, this guy is probably the greatest I've seen in this capacity based on X, Y, and Z.
Coach Scott, what did you not hear that Stephen A. Smith just said? Like, how could you misconstrue those words? He literally stated that LeBron James camp came to Perkins to push a narrative. Like, what about, like, how can you confuse what was said?
I'm sorry. I apologize if you weren't finished.
I'm asking, like, how could you confuse that? Like, what about that don't you understand?
Oh, here's my only point. If Perk was already saying, if Perk was already a part of the LeBron James camp, a part of the LeBron James narrative, a part of the LeBron James, he's the greatest. If Perk was already communicating that from his seat, from how he saw it, from his vantage point, why would someone else have to approach him? That's what my question was. And that's why I don't see it the same.
Wait,
go ahead.
I have a question about what you're just saying. Are you saying that Perk was not already saying that LeBron was the GOAT and he was not the greatest and all this stuff?
No. What I'm saying is Perk was already felt that way. That's what Perk was already communicating. I don't need somebody to tell me tomorrow is Wednesday if tomorrow's going to be Wednesday anyway. I don't need nobody to tell me that.
I'm a little confused about what you're talking about.
I don't need nobody to approach me to tell me that.
It's going to be Wednesday regardless. What way? What way did he already feel?
In my opinion, based off of what I've heard in Big Perk's commentary on LeBron James, I felt as if Big Perk felt like LeBron James was the greatest basketball player. That's what my take was up until the previous firing of Darvin Ham. That was my take. Now, if you had a different take, I think just different.
I think that's the point. We all knew that Perk was saying that LeBron was a GOAT, and he like Coach J said earlier, he even had an argument with Shannon Sharpe about who was a supporter the longest.
The longest, right?
The question is why is he falling back and like now he's taking a different approach and have a different outlook on what's going on. And I'm not saying he doesn't no longer think that LeBron is the GOAT, but he is now being a lot more critical of LeBron. And the question is, could that be because of what Stephen A said he had proof of and what was coming out, that LeBron sends his camp to question reporters and journalists and ask them or try to sway the narrative? And maybe that's something Big Perk is not liking.
What all I'm talking about is Big Perk. I don't specifically know as it pertains to other people. I'm just talking about what I saw and what I physically heard just now. But I also watched I watched the full interview. And in that, what I gather from it is, if a person is already in that camp, if a person is already pushing that specific narrative, I don't need anybody to come help push the same narrative. You feel that way. So why do I need anybody to come question you about anything?
The thing is, because even if you're a part of that, and if you say something, because even Shannon Sharpe at one point, he stood on the opposing side and criticized LeBron once or twice here or there. That's what Stephen A is saying. When Perk did it, all of a sudden, here come LeBron camp. Why are you saying that? Why can't he just he thinks you're the GOAT. He thinks you're the greatest. Why can't he say anything? And that's the whole thing about the LeBron fanship. And I know the guys, y'all watch the show and y'all say what you're going to say, we haters or whatever. We just talking basketball. And if you don't like it, then don't watch the show. Listen, the point is you can't say anything negative about LeBron. This is the first player ever you can say nothing negative about. Right?
That's crazy.
How many times did I tell the story about Jordan back in 93 when he came and he didn't sign those autographs for those little kids that was from the orphanage out there waiting for him to sign autographs? That was when I really stopped liking Jordan personally. I think he's the GOAT on the court. Personally, I don't like Jordan. I've talked about that several times. Nobody's ever told me I'm attacking the black community. Nobody's ever said I'm a hater, and none of this stuff never came up. Not once. Not ever. But if you say one thing about LeBron, it's an issue. It's an issue. Listen, we're wrapping towards the close of the show. I got to ask you guys this before we leave. I'm going to start with you, Coach JL. JJ Redick, you think he's a future head coach at Los Angeles Lakers? Yes or no?
Yes.
Think so? Why? What about it? You think it's just, why would you think JJ is going to be there?
Because, again, what this whole show is about, it's about narrative. LeBron James, JJ Redick already set it up. They've already done it. JJ is this brilliant mind who can sit, toe to toe or eye to eye with LeBron James. He's proven that regardless whether, consciously or unconsciously, LeBron James have stated, JJ Redick and I have the same basketball mind. By doing a show together, talking about basketball. LeBron James viewed JJ as a peer when it comes to basketball IQ. Yes.
That's facts. And that's probably that was his issue with Darvin Ham, that I guess he didn't view him on the same level, like, you're not smart enough. Why didn't you challenge the play? I didn't touch the ball, challenge it. Coach Scott, do you think JJ Redick is the next Lakers head coach, or is it just a bunch of BS?
No, I don't feel like that. I think that is a laundry list of coaches. I have literally 8 here that I can read off. JJ Redick is among them, but I have 8 coaches that are on the list that I literally am prepared to read, and he's not a part of those ones that should be able to sit in a seat as a Laker head coach. Now, as it pertains to who will pay him, I don't know. If he takes that, if the deal is made to where he gets paid properly, I don't know. But I don't feel like there's other coaches that can specifically step into this role that are better than JJ Redick. Absolutely. But at the same time, I have one thing I want to say as it pertains to the coaching, of the LA Lakers. We know Darvin Ham went 3-19. And I'm saddened that the brother got fired. I really am. But here's one of the things that in the T-Wolves series that I'm watching, great coaching. I'm watching great coaching. Why is Jamal Murray, why is Mr. Murray getting pressured so heavily from start to finish, from the time he touches the ball to the time he actually gets the ball out of his hand? Why is he getting pressured, double teamed so heavy and so hard? Would you call that personal basketball prowess, where basketball players are just making their own call on the court and they're doing it on their own? Or is that something that the coach has said, we will not allow this guy to beat us?
All right, Coach Jay, go ahead and answer that. Then we're going to get up out of here. It's on you. You got it.
I got you. If you're asking why the Lakers didn't do that, you know why?
It's coaching.
No, because they literally, you remember that stat I gave you about the slowest player in the league on defense? Ramon James. When you got the slowest player in the league on defense who's not moving, how can you do that? How can you do that?
You can do it when you have an Austin Reeves and a D-Lo to front the ball, because he is a forward. He's not needed to front the ball.
Oh, okay.
The people that are fronting the ball for the T-Wolves are not forward.
All right. So listen, I will say this. I do think JJ Redick name is among the list because of LeBron James. Even if he doesn't get the job, he's in the mix because of LeBron James and the way they position him in that. But listen, we have come to the end of our show. Hey, this is one we can talk. We can go on all night on this one, man. Good show, great show, guys. Hey, listen, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Make sure you follow us. Support the channel. We're trying to get the channel to 5,000 subscribers. Hopefully you guys will hit that subscribe button. Hopefully we're not these huge LeBron James haters that you just don't want to subscribe to our channel. Man, we talk about basketball. That's it. Basketball. We're not talking about personal life, husband, father, son, brother, community member. We're talking basketball and basketball related topics. Follow us on all social media, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We'll see you guys next time. Welcome to The GOAT Debate, the premier online sports debate show where engaging discussions and thrilling debates unfold as we determine who is the greatest of all time in every sport. I am your host, Abaya Israel, joined by my 2 co-hosts, Coach Scott and Coach J.O. Tune into our YouTube and Facebook channels to catch our reactions and coverage of the biggest games and the latest news. Don't miss out on your chance to participate in the action. Join us every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for The GOAT Debate, where you, the viewer, can call in and share your thoughts on who deserves the title of the GOAT. Be sure to mark your calendars. Every Monday, we upload 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, and we go live every Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be sure to subscribe, call in, and participate. Come and be a part of the conversation.